Yeah, we're just going to invite Gustav Holst onto the show while we're at it. He's going to score this show from the grave. It'll be awesome.
That's actually the safest place to score the show from.
Yeah. It's actually the safest place to watch this show from, too. We find that a lot of corpses out there have very bad taste.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 546 of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Terry Mixon. Joining me, Paul E. Cooley. How you doing, man?
It's been a long week, man. It's only Tuesday.
You know,
if I look like I'm about to scream, there's a reason.
I just don't know about this whole day of the week thing.
Of course you don't.
What's the draw of that anyway?
I don't know. It's some artificial construct humankind made so that they could, sell watches and clocks.
And calendars.
Apparently. It's so people who didn't want to read a sundial could, choose meeting times, rather.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, every day ends in day, so it's all the same.
Yeah, for those people who actually have to put on pants to go work, they may see that a little differently.
Well, as you can see, the video here only goes shirt down, so I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising anything below the belt here.
Thank criminy for that.
So, Paul, what have you been up to besides developing AI that will take over the world?
I'm not developing AI. I wish I was developing AI.
You could be developing AI.
I wish I was smart enough to do that. What have I been doing? I met 3 deadlines this week, as of today. Anyway, 3 deadlines. 2 I set for myself, and 1 that was set by my erstwhile employer, one of my part-time employers. Anyway, so got an iOS app finished. That went sort of live today. Got Evolution recorded. Yay! Mastered the audiobook. Yay! It's going on sale Friday. Yay! And I still have to record a couple of podcast episodes to release while I'm gone. So, and now I can hopefully get back to doing this thing called writing.
So is the sequel to Evolution Devolution?
No.
Damn it.
Extinction.
Well, that's close to de-evolution.
Extinction. We'll see. We'll see what I want to know. Well, actually, I don't, because I've been yelled at about this before at Balticon. when I said that when I gave the last title as Extinction, people were like, "God damn it, you're ruining it!" I said, "No, you don't know who's going extinct.
Everyone dies." I actually got to use that word in the last chapter I wrote in my current novel.
Extinction.
I have a race that was devolving.
Oh, devolving. That is a very interesting premise, a very interesting idea, and it's something that there's a lot of books covering that. Stephen King's Dark Tower series. You're coming across worlds that are dying or dead, and they have the populace in certain cases has devolved from tool makers to simple tool users. And don't know how to fix anything, don't know how to make any new tools, have lost all the skills of their ancestors, and are essentially back at square one. The only difference is they're not quite cave people.
That's exactly what I did here. And this is a little bit of spoilery for the 4th book in the Humanity Unlimited saga. But when I'm writing Blood of Patriots, 1,000 years ago, the alien Asherim were the highest level starfaring creatures, and they took humans, took them as slaves, took them and modified them and made them capable of being warriors for themselves. The sliver of the race that they're running into in book 4 has been trapped on this world for that last pretty much 1,000 years. And they're basically at black powder musket stage. And they still have access to some high technology. They have access to the stories and the legends of having high technology, right, but they do not currently have high technology. And even if they had it, they probably couldn't use it, but they've still got the arrogance of someone that did.
Yeah. Well, 1,000,000 years ago, my race owned this galaxy.
We were mighty.
Guess what? Not anymore. So anyway, I am almost through my month of May. I am almost through the gauntlet. I am almost past it and at Balticon. Thank Karaga.
You have survived May.
Well, so far I've survived May. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm not panicked like I was last night. So you've just been writing and hanging out and getting well, I assume.
Yeah, the first part of this month was after I got back from the trip to Napa Valley was not nearly as productive as I wanted it to be because I haven't been well. I'm finally back into the swing of writing every day, and I think I've only got maybe 3 chapters left to write in this novel.
Awesome.
And I'm already at like 82,000 words in it. So I am at the point to where I need to have that climactic end battle. And I'm now with this change that I've got in mind. I was at first, I was like, I'm just not looking forward to this battle. Now I'm looking forward to this battle.
I understand. I understand what you mean. Completely.
And when I'm done with this, it'll take me at least a week, but then I start going through paper. In fact, I've already started. I'm going to go ahead and grab something off my shelf back here and show you and show the watchers. This is going to be happening.
Marking it up.
I've marked up the first couple of pages on this because I wanted to see how spacing it out at a 3-line space instead of double space it, triple space it. I like the triple spacing better. Gives me more room to write. But in 3 days, 2 or 3 days, whenever I finish the chapters, I've got a bunch of these already printed up, and I'll start through it, and I'll start making it seem like it makes more sense. Start tightening things up, changing the words around. And I'm actually looking forward to that a whole bunch.
I can tell.
I also have to write short stories. I have short stories that are due over the next 2 or 3 months for 3 different anthologies.
You were just a anthology butterfly at this point.
Marketing, my man. It's marketing.
Is that like merchandising, only different?
It is like merchandising, only different.
Okay. I'm glad we got
this is getting my words in front of different audiences.
Yeah. Yeah. I get the concept. I understand.
And it's a palate cleanser. I can go ahead and write something that's radically different than what I'm writing on before I get back to the next Empire novel.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that too.
Well, good.
I may actually write out a very skeletonized outline before I write the next Empire book.
You should do that.
I'm talking about, I need to have this major scene happen. I need to have that major scene happen. Maybe 5 or 6 of them that I need to be aiming for so that I've got stepping stones. Okay, by chapter 6, I've got this one-liner. I need to be working towards this. And then all the bits and pieces can lay themselves out there. If I just write it spread out to where I've got 5 or 6 lines of what I want to do for the entire novel, I'm not really spoiling it for myself. But I have an awful lot of trouble when I'm going through these, because when I get to the middle, I'm like, where am I going with this?
The swampy middle.
The swampy middle.
The swampy middle. We have an episode called The Swampy Middle.
Yes, and it's so true. Every word of it is true.
Yes, every word of it. Go watch that one if you don't know what we're talking about. Go search for it. It's out there. I love that you're excited about this. I love that you're excited. That's awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun because now I've the last couple of books have been getting to a certain place in Empire. Now I'm there. Now I can do something.
Yes.
And I pretty well hosed the characters up at the end of the last book. So yeah, there's going to be some character growth.
That's never a bad thing.
No, it's never a bad thing. Never a bad thing at all. We are here this week to talk with an old friend of the podcast.
Yes. And who
you've written down the title here as Revenge of Archivos.
Archivos.
I said it the way I said it.
Archivos. As Dave will teach us during the show, it's really pronounced Archivos.
He really means that just don't call him late for dinner.
Whatever.
I think we should have named it Son of Archivos.
Son of Archivos?
But it's not really. It's not really.
Nah.
Not really, but
it's Archivos, the Revenge.
Sounds very Star Wars-ish.
This episode has also been described by the patrons as 3 grumpy old men.
That's just jealousy. Jealousy over facial hair.
Oh, let's get this started.
Let's go talk to our friend. And joining us today is the ever-present, ever-magnificent Dave Robeson. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing very, very well, Master Mixon. How about yourself, sir?
I am sitting here in jealous awe of your beard.
Indeed, it just grows. It's astonishing. No fertilizer, no anything. Just let it go.
One day, you and George R.R. Martin will be mistaken for one another.
Right now, I'm going for Nathan Lowell.
Yeah, you were definitely achieving Nathan Lowell status. That is,
if I can't get a Lowellian word count, I will achieve a Lowellian beard. By golly,
one does what one does.
One is definitely easier than the other.
Yes, indeed.
Because growing hair ain't hard.
I just sit here,
just gotta hang out. It'll happen.
I'm doing it.
You can even do your nails while you're waiting.
Dave, we are so happy that you could come on and join us today.
I'm delighted to be back. I have always greatly anticipated my time with the Dead Robots, and you guys are fine hosts, and it's always interesting, usually fun, always interesting to hang out with you guys. So I appreciate you having me back.
It's our absolute pleasure. Did you just come on to chat, or are you here with news of some kind?
News of some kind. Gee, what could Dave have news about?
Are you pimping something?
I think Dave? I think he is about to reveal
his evil plan.
He is actually Chuck Tingle. I believe that's what he's here for. It's the reveal.
I thought I was Chuck Tingle.
Well, so did I. But now, obviously, we were wrong.
Pull off the mask. Hi. No, I am not Chuck Tingle. Though my pimping skills continue to aspire to a Chuck Tingle level of penetration, dare I say. That said, no, I'm here to talk about all kinds of things. Obviously, because I have creative ADHD, like so many of you. So there's always things going on and things to explore. But we just had a major update of Archivos. The story development and presentation tool that I've been developing for, oh my God, so long.
Forever now.
Yeah. Actually, and I haven't been developing. It's my creation. But
your vision, someone else is typing.
Exactly. I can actually tell you, the company that is developing Archivos right now is called Sword Sweeper. And you can visit their website at swordsweeper.com. And
sounds
I can
deadly.
They're deadly coders, I will tell you that. They are some of the best people to work with in terms of development. They took what I had last August, completely reworked it, shored it up, strengthened it, made it pretty, and then continued the development process at a fraction of the cost of what I was paying. It sounds like a promotion for Sword Sweeper, and I guess it kind of is. They're amazing. So if anybody has, they don't do it for free, so I'm not going to say they're cheap, but they are affordable for development studios. And if you have an app or a website or something that you want to get out into the world, swordsweeper.com is a good place to start.
All righty then.
But yeah, we basically put a wrap on version 1 of Archivos. As far as I'm concerned, the feature set that we have now is a comprehensive tool that helps writers develop stories. It allows them to collaborate and share their stories in unique ways. And we finally, just with the release of the ability to embed story setting displays into your website, it's now a powerful promotional tool and a way to boost fan engagement. With all of those features, it's like, bam, version 1, there we go.
I saw the email where that was announced, and I was like, huh. I wonder what I would embed. What part would I embed? I've actually been playing with doing something on the site, even though I've got my story Bible elsewhere.
Sure.
I want to see what I can do with it. So the idea of embedding something in the website is exceptionally cool.
If you wanted to be a total jerk, Terry, what you would do is, since you're writing every day on a scene, the first thing you would do when you finish that scene would be go make an element for it in Archivos.
There you go. Yeah. That would actually be kind of cool.
And then as you display it, people could check your progress on the story.
Absolutely.
Massive spoiler alert.
Yeah, that would definitely be the spoiler thread there.
Well, and you can also, I mean, Archivos allows you to privately share a setting.
Yeah.
So your patrons on your Patreon feed, if get their email addresses, send them invites for private viewing, and then only those people that are already reading those pre-chapters, those first draft chapters, would have access to the story setting.
And then they could just type in, if you added them as collaborators on that, then they could just basically put a fix if they find something there. Whereas
no
would know.
At this point, no one can fix my mistakes.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that one. I'm in the same boat, but yeah.
Yeah.
In the Empire of Bones, I've got 10 books out already, and I still get notes from books back going, yeah, this thing here you made a mistake. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I'm sure that is a commonality for all authors that have a long, extensive canon.
Oh God, yes.
I'll bet Roger Zelazny was getting crap emails from people saying, "Hey, back in 9 Princes of Amber, that first Amber book, you did this, and that was wrong."
It's the Star Trek convention thing, right?
In episode number at minute 12 in episode number 3 of season 2.
Hell, at this point, since it takes me, we'll call it a month and a half to write a full-length novel, I've forgotten details of the beginning of the novel by the time I get to the end of it. I caught myself in the current work in progress exchanging one secondary character for another one.
Wow.
It's okay. They both filled the same rough role, but I was using the wrong name, but I caught myself. I was like, that's not the same person.
Did you kill Red twice?
It was almost like that, but not quite.
I'm waiting for the day I accidentally kill Thomas Reed twice.
I want the day you accidentally have him alive.
Have him survive.
Have the toe twitch.
The toe twitch. I've never actually, well, that's not true. I have had him on his slab, but I have never had him on a slab with a sheet over him.
That's kind of gross when you think about it.
Well, his body has always been like under in progress in the autopsy room, if you will, when our characters arrive.
Can't you at least cover the floppy bits? Come on.
Well, I don't describe those, at least.
I was going to say, the camera never pans down below the waist.
I may have.
He shows the toe. It definitely goes below the waist unless something is terribly wrong.
I never show the toe. At least I don't think I showed the toe.
You said you showed the toe with a tag on it. So obviously you did.
Well, somebody always talks about who that is. That's why he's toe tag treed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that goes, man.
All righty then.
You have to understand the joke to get the joke, Terry.
I think it's much more fun to just totally misunderstand it on purpose.
Dave, this is what I have to put up with
every
single week.
Built a podcasting career on that unique skill there, Terry. Yeah.
Hopeless. Absolutely hopeless.
So with version 1 coming out, I've been watching it on and off while it's been in beta, I suppose, since it's now version 1. And what's the journey been like from the beginning of your idea to where you are now? That's
an excellent question. And it's been, I hate to fall back on an old chestnut, but it's been an educational experience, Terry.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Well, yeah. And, financial resource limitations, time limitations, the limitations of technology. As soon as you make the commitment to take an idea that's squishy in your brain and make it real, you start running up against limitations. of some sort or another. And I think the real challenge for any creator, everyone on this podcast, everyone listening to this podcast, is how you deal with those limitations, and how much of a limitation it's going to be, as opposed to how committed you are to making your dream come true, whatever that may be, a book, a short story, a software platform. The biggest challenge, I think, was I had the idea as a piece of as a passionate concept of, wouldn't it be cool if, and it would be valuable to writers on many levels, storytellers of all kinds. The concept, what's the word I'm looking for? The desire to share versus the business reality of making it a sustainable mechanism that will actually work in a meaningful way and sustain itself financially. That was my first biggest thing, because I am not a businessman. I certainly understand business conversations, and I think we all have to have some sort of marketing bones inside of us to be in the businesses that we're in. But the notion of business structure, of overhead, of staff, of marketing, all of these things were a huge wake-up call for me. I fortunately had some very skilled companions and allies to guide me down some of those paths. But that was the first thing that we ran into. And then your ideas, when you're building software, your ideas as opposed to the ideas of the people that are actually using the software. These two concepts don't always mesh. And we've had to put things on the back burner in favor of things that our users and subscribers have said, we want this urgently. So it's like, okay, we will put this thing that Dave really wants on the back burner so that we give the users features and functions that help the app work effectively. So listening to your users and creating mechanisms for your audience to engage with you, responding in a meaningful way that you can then use to, if you so choose, realign or reposition or edit your presentation so it more aligns with their expectations. So, and then the rest is really just striving for that event horizon of adoption. I have absolute confidence in Archivos. I know it has the bones to be astonishing, to help people. We've been getting confirmation. We were talking about Dave Simkaliak earlier. He gave a great testimonial. He didn't mean to, but he gave a great testimonial for Archivos, saying, I have discovered something about myself. I am a visual writer. I need to see my story. That's exactly what Archivos does. It lets you see your story the way you think about your story. And having somebody else have that experience to close that loop, that's gold for a creator. It's like getting a 5-star review on Amazon. That's got to feel good, and it absolutely does. So the journey has been not without frustrations, but there have also been triumphs as each new feature comes out, as the vision that I saw, geez Louise, 2.5 years ago when we first broke code ground on this thing and started making it. And Paul, God, we were in the Hunt Valley thing when I was telling you about
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
The end of Balticon, a Dead Dog Balticon convo. I'm saying, I got this idea. Having it get to this point is, when I look back, I can stand amazed, but I think there's a danger of just looking around you and saying, oh yeah, okay, this is done. That's as it should be. One does not applaud the tenor for clearing his throat. Yes, you put out some software, lovely. What's next? I think it's important to look back at those, God, talking to Paul at Hunt Valley, 4 or 5 years ago, and realizing, holy crap, now we're here. That's mind-boggling and a point of pride. I'm very proud of what we've got out there. I think it helps people, and I think as we move forward, it's just going to get better and better.
I haven't used it nearly as much as Paul does because I had the misfortune of already having my story Bible in another format.
Right.
But I'm playing around with it now, and I've discovered a limitation on myself when I was doing it. I said, I'll just create this one character. I'll create Princess Kelsey and start with that, and then go back every once in a while, add some new people in and do some other things there. And I immediately said, what does she look like? What can I put in here for a picture? I was like, oh, crap, now I got to go hunt pictures.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, and there's actually the next feature that's coming out probably in 30 to 45 days is not going to help that at all.
Damn it.
I know. Right? I'm just the exact opposite.
I need you to have little cartoony people that we can select their faces as defaults for these characers.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
that's on down the road.
You are such a user. You are.
I am
user.
totally a user.
Well, what we're going to be adding is a thing called the media gallery. And the media gallery allows you to embed multiple media files into a single story element. Right now, you've got the avatar image, you've got the profile image. With the media gallery, you'll also be able to add 3 or 4 more images. You'll be able to embed YouTube videos or audio. You'll also be able to upload PDFs or text files. So for fan fiction sites, podcasts can now use Archivos as a delivery mechanism.
Oh, shit.
You may have just harmed yourself. Sorry about that.
But, and then the next step after that is to have, reach out to artists and have a media archive where built into Archivos is a selection of character portraits, of location portraits, and so on by various artists. And have them immediately available without having to go out to the internet and go searching. We'll come up with our own diagnostic, sort of like Adobe stock photos for Archivos, and have that. So you don't have to go quite so far afield to look for your character sketches and so on.
For somebody like me, that would definitely be useful because it took me a while. I don't necessarily have a good visualization of the characters as I write them. Mm-hmm. I kind of let the readers plug in what the characters look like.
Sure.
So I'm lucky that I know what Princess Kelsey looks like. When I start getting a little further away, then it becomes more nebulous.
Yep. Well, and as you work in Archivos, and that's one of the things, as you were describing your process, we have James and Jennifer Melzer are content developers for us. And they've been creating some amazing settings up there. We've got Hellboy up there. We're getting ready to post The Witcher, the complete Witcher, video games, movies, television, all of it. It's astonishing. But we all develop processes. And Paul, I'm sure you're discovering this too. My process has become, I create the central character. I then go into the relationship view and I just start adding every darn related thing I can think of. Don't worry about pictures. Don't worry even about saving the darn things, because we've got that manage elements feature where you can mass save stuff with the click of a button. Just build those relationships and then look at those immediate connections and go, okay, ooh, that organization, that needs a boss. Go to that thing and flesh that out. And soon you've got this fractal of associative connections that you can then see those structures that are making up your story, and you can dive in and start fleshing them out as you need.
Yeah, for Trident and the last book in the Derelict Saga, I've only had to deal with, I think, 10 characters, really.
Okay.
That might triple.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Knowing my story Bible, it would take me months to get all of that entered.
Yeah.
That is crazy talk.
Well, and that's why we have the collaboration feature.
That's also why you have things called red shirts, Terry. I need to thin down points of view. I need to thin down.
Even my story Bible has to have references even to the dead people, because I need to know who they were.
Sure, and have the event of their death be an event in the timeline.
It's one of the things that it's difficult to do in a regular format, is to say, like, a ship. Okay, during the timeline of the ship, the crew will change. Who was there during book 3? Which crew members were there?
And where did they go afterward?
A character. When did they get a promotion? When did they get reassigned? It's incredibly complex, and Archivos is a much better way of keeping track of that than what I'm doing.
Can I share an image? Can I share my screen for a second and just to expand on what you're describing?
Sure.
This is, let's see, I'll pick the specific window. This is actually something that David Wendt shared recently, and it's not letting me see it. So, okay, fine. I'll just do my entire screen. Here we go. Bam. So this image represents an evolution of awareness, if you will, where on the far left side, you've got your story elements. You've got your data. Once you understand a little bit more about them, they start becoming information. You connect them. That becomes knowledge. And then insight comes from being able to identify specific elements, and then the path between them is wisdom. And I looked at that and I'm going, holy crap, this is exactly what Archivos provides, from data to wisdom in one fell swoop.
Well, in RUP parlance, it's basically just an idea cloud that you're working through.
Exactly.
Did you say RUP parlance?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Rational Unified Process.
Okay.
A wonderful, wonderful thing that was made horrible.
Anything in corporate America with development has become horrible.
The original guys that came up with that thing, I think, were just absolutely disgusted with what ended up happening with it. But yeah, I still have that book somewhere.
Let me share one more thing. Speaking of data models and the corruption of code and so on, take a look at this. This is a view that we're contemplating for Archivos. For the story
opium poppy. It's an opium poppy.
This
you're literally generating a fractal,
right? Well, this is the and this is very rough. This is not anywhere near. This is in fact the first attempt, but this is the Critical Role season 1 story, and this circular flow, this bloom, if you will, applying to each of the characters and the events as they occur, and then flowing out from there. This is something that we're toying with as an evolution of the story web. To be able to see this connected to this, connected to these, and then be able to continue to explore simply by double clicking on and on and on.
Oh man!
So in that, seeing that sparked a question in my mind. If I was doing, I know that you can see I'm familiar with the central view where you've got all the various elements and their relationships pointing at them.
Right.
Can you have elements where ships are linked to all the people that are on them and then linked to events that they're involved with? I haven't dug that deeply.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, and that's the potential rabbit hole of Archivos. You can, I mean, if you think about it, everything is connected to everything else in some way, shape, or form, which will create this massive snarl. If you work from a hierarchical standpoint, for example, if you assign the crew to the ship, if those crewmen have a significant engagement of some kind, if like the captain of the ship, you could assign the captain to the event as well, because you'll be able to see those related elements as you examine the individual profiles for each event. It'll show you which elements were participating, which ones instigated, where it took place. That's the power of that hierarchical structure of data. And it's really up to you as far as how granular you want to get. If you're using it as a story development tool, saying that this ship was at this location is enough, because in Archivos, you can click on the ship and then instantly see all of the crew that are in that ship if you've linked them accordingly. So the answer is yes.
Yes, but is the answer.
But there's always a lot of different ways to do it.
You were talking the timeline earlier. Is it one unified timeline, or can individual elements have their own timeline?
Excellent question. Right now, it's one unified timeline. And it's also, yes, still Gregorian calendar. There are no custom calendars yet. We're looking at, first of all, incorporating custom calendars probably by the end of summer. That's our hopes. So going into spring or going into fall, you'll be able to create your own calendars down to the second. You can name what a second is called in your world, and then how many seconds in a minute, blah, blah, blah. You can get as granular as you want.
You know how I would do it? It's twisted and wrong, but this is how I would do it.
Okay.
God.
Because, well, no, it's not an oh God moment.
Yeah,
because,
it is. You're about to say something. It is.
Because I've never actually specified a year ever that is going on in any of my books because I don't like being nailed down that far.
Sure.
I would make an individual timeline for whatever it would be like 1.12, book 1, chapter 12.
There you go.
Something like that, so I could keep track of where things happen. Because for me, building this, it would be a story Bible. It wouldn't be something else. Exactly. It would be something that I could have a timeline of knowing, okay, well, when did this person get promoted? Right there. 3.5. Okay, done.
There you go. And right now, I mean, the only way to have a discrete timeline for an element, for example, would be to create its own story setting for that character. Now that's going to change and evolve as well. Two things are going to be happening over the next 3 to 4 months that are going to evolve that. One is the ability to link story settings and link elements across story settings. So you can have a character's backstory as a story setting, have your main novel as a separate story setting, and if there are events that reference the character's backstory, you'll be able to link to that other timeline and that other story setting. That's one thing. The other thing that we're doing is we're doing an overhaul of the timeline because honestly, right now it was an emulation of Timeline.js, which is a very cool platform and does a great job. But we have discovered that from a storyteller standpoint, the limitations are too constrictive. So we're going to be evolving that. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to change the display so that it functions more like the story web, in that each event is a discrete element linked chronologically. And then what you can do, Terry, is search for a character name. If you want to see a character's discrete timeline, you search for his name in the timeline, and then only events where that character is linked will show up in the timeline. So you effectively filter out everything else that doesn't involve that character.
Another way that would be helpful for someone like me as a storyteller is I'm going to be starting a new series later this year that's set in the same universe, but 500 or 600 years earlier. Some of the characters from those early times are actually already present in the stories that I've written.
Interesting.
So there would be callbacks across the storylines.
Very helpful. Yeah. Definitely. And people are doing that all the time. I mean, there are references to past events that eventually become fleshed out as a short story or a whole separate novel series.
Not that Paul has ever done that.
Not that any of us have ever done that. Oh my God. That world building for me is, okay, I'm going to set the world in this time frame. In my world building, I create up this historical area where this happens. It's like, oh crap, that's more interesting than the current timeline. Let's set the game in this one, but we need to have background on that. Oh crap, that's even,
Slide the timeline further back.
Creators are cats, basically.
We are. And story ideas are laser pointers.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. And scenes.
Yep.
Scenes
I mean, we want to be able to color code story elements in Archivos so that you can see from a color and also use different types of lines so that colorblind users can still benefit from this, but be able to see at a glance, is that a character or an event or a location? Like the story web. Oh, that's blue. That's a character, or it's got the dotted hashed line. Boom. Same thing for relationships. Thick lines for strong relationships, thinner lines for weaker ones, color coding for type. all of that stuff.
You do realize you're making rational rows for storytelling.
I can't help myself. It's the way we're going. Now you got to
realize that, right?
Tell me more about rational roads.
Oh, good God. This old, the old RUP tool.
Oh, geez. Okay.
You basically draw all the diagrams, sequence diagrams, and class diagrams, and relationship diagrams, ERD diagrams, etc., and then it would generate code.
Okay. Oh,
way back in the day.
That is way back in the day, and I was not aware of that. But that sounds exactly like what we're talking about. Only cooler, faster, and built for storytellers.
And actually fun.
And fun.
I'm being sarcastic when I say this, because not sarcastic. I'm being funny when I say this. You could go ahead and have a feature where you drag the timeline if you were doing Games of Thrones, and people's icons would burst into flames as they die.
Have special animations, custom animations.
Special animations is drag the timeline.
And type of death you could have, bursting into flames if it's dragons, or a sword going through the avatar if they get
that turns into a game all by itself. Find the Easter egg.
Oh God. See, and that right there is why I want Archivos to be a huge raging success. So I have the resources to make that happen. I want that to happen.
So Paul can code in 3JS and then have a nice little 3D model show up of everything, and then have animations and video there without just using people's browser without storing video. Yeah, that'd be cool.
See, if you were doing Game of Thrones, you'd have to have somebody going back and snagging the little video clips of their deaths to put in there.
Yeah,
that's on YouTube. Yep. YouTube, I'm sure, has every death. And when we get the media gallery in there, we can have that video embedded into the event element for their death.
If you're embedding exterior elements like something from YouTube, is it going to have a way to notify you if a video has been deleted? How will you ever know?
Probably won't.
You probably have to check your store. A fan will notify you.
Yeah,
I'm sure that will happen.
Hey, by the way, you've got a broken link here.
Your shit isn't working.
Yeah, if it's a publicly shared thing, a fan will notify you. If it's a private thing, until you actually go looking for it, unless there's some mechanism that the API for YouTube gives us something we can hang a programming hat on or a hook on.
Yeah.
You'd
have no
idea. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. I just was curious. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to tell the player, if this video is unavailable, bounce.
Yeah.
Say video not available.
Well, and that's the other thing, is that right now, Archivos is a very solitary experience. We do have the collaboration, and we do have the private sharing feature. But what we're lacking, and what I'm feeling very much the lack of, is the ability for the community around Archivos to work together. Chat features, comments. I saw
that you had a Discord server you started up.
Yes, we just fired up a Discord server, and that's I'm looking forward to that. We had a forum, but I swear to God, every week I have to trim out a dozen Russian bots.
Yeah. You need to have something like Slack built into your system, so that I know that Michael Andrew uses Slack for all of his stuff.
We use Slack for all our development. That's our communication network there, but it would be a bit invasive, I think, from a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
Discord I can turn off and turn back on again.
Discord you can mute.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul's gonna have to do more with his Discord thing, because he keeps mentioning it, but no one else knows what it is.
It's
by no one, I mean me.
We've explained it to you, Terry. You just don't get
I'm
it.
old.
It's like Facebook Messenger on steroids and cooler.
That's actually not bad. I like that description. Now, Paul could have only said that like a year ago.
And then you can also you can have you can participate in a voice call. I think it's up to 5 people.
I don't know.
5 or 8.
I'm still discovering the scope of technologies that can be embedded in there. But yeah, you can certainly link to anything. There's voice and video chat that you can set up channels for that if you want. If you want.
And if you're crazy enough to be a streamer, then you can basically just integrate it with Twitch or whatever else.
Exactly. exactly.
So I
But
mean,
at its core-
it has been very, very helpful to us because another project I'm working on, we're using Discord while we're using Archivos, and somebody's updating everything, or one of us puts in a new element. Everybody can say they did this. Take a look at this, and it's wonderful because
Now,
you see the live
and you can
updates.
see, have you experienced seeing the updates live in Archivos as somebody
Yes.
else is making it?
Yes.
Yeah. So exciting.
It is wonderful. So, I mean, if you pair those two things together, then you've got a excuse me, you've got a really good way of doing it, because that emailing sucks.
Yes, absolutely.
Traditional messaging sucks.
You need some immediate engagement feedback. I like that idea. Try this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
You got 2 minutes to get on message or on voice. All right. And then you just collect. You don't have to start up a new chat or go through all that bullshit to get something done. It's wonderful.
Exactly. And the suggestion has been made that we find some sort of VoIP capabilities, so you can have at least, audio conversations during collaboration, so that you can actually be in each other's earbuds as you're typing away. And that just makes sense. But we really want to try and foster a community around these Archivos settings, not just in the creative process, but also in the experiencing of them and exploring of them, ideas bouncing back and forth. I mean, that's where the awesomeness happens, is when multiple people start giving their attention to the same thing, different perspectives, different insights, and then you as the creator can go, oh crap, that's a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that without this great collaboration we have going on here. So, yeah.
If only I was writing stories with somebody other than me, because when I talk to myself, it just sounds pretentious.
I talk a lot all the time. It's one of the reasons why Luna will raise her head up and go, "Are you doing that again?" Or she does that while I podcast and record audiobooks. So, nothing new really.
Yeah. I would imagine that's common practice.
Yeah. Standard operating procedure.
So we're at version 1.
Indeed.
You've mentioned a couple of things that you're aiming for in the near future. It's been a couple of years getting through the beta. When do you see this shooting way far off in the future?
Sure.
You're doing incremental development as you go along. How far away is version 2? I mean, I know that you're introducing new stuff as it goes along. It just makes me curious.
No, that's a legit question. And honestly,
it almost doesn't matter because you're doing it incrementally. I'm just curious.
Exactly. At what point do we reach another conceptual closure of Archivos? And that's a great question, actually.
When you completely redesign the back end because you're forced to.
That's actually a pretty good milestone for it, I think.
There you go. When we check the old database and rework it.
We move everything to MongoDB or something along those lines, so we never have to deal with this crap again.
No, we were in Mongo initially, and it's like, oh, hell no.
Why do I see Ming the Merciless as the administrator when you're doing that?
I'm guessing those folks didn't know what they were doing, but yeah.
The reason I can tie off version 1 Archivos is because I had a very clear vision of the conceptual feature set, the ability for it to be a promotional tool, a development tool, and a sharing tool. And having those 3 benchmarks achieved, that's okay, good, boom, put a flag in the ground. That is version 1. To answer your question, Terry, I would need to have a much clearer understanding of what I see those next conceptual goals to be. And that's been a challenge, because one of the biggest challenges, to go back to your original question, that we've had with Archivos is it can apply to so many industries. It can be used for role-playing games. It can be used for writers. It can be used for educators. I think version 2 is going to be where the community feature set comes into play. We're talking about having a marketplace where, for example, if you're a role-playing gamer and you put an Archivos, a module into Archivos, you can put that up in the marketplace, and either for free or for a modest sum or whatever, people can copy that story setting into their Archivos and then run that module from their login, from their account. Educators can develop curriculum and then put it up in the again, the marketplace, if we would call it that. But the common area, the what do the Greeks call them? The agricola or something like that. Anyway, the Athenium, and people being able to share content in a meaningful way, even being able to upload a character. This is a character. Copy that into my story setting or what have you. That ability to blur the lines between story settings and between Archivos storytellers, I think that's going to be the defining factor for version 2. When that's going to happen, I'll say a year.
Well, that's fine. I expected you didn't have a clear vision at this point of where you were going there. Talking role playing, as an old role playing guy, sitting there, I can almost see somebody playing and talking about doing something over this, and click a button and a portion of a map becoming clear, being added onto what they're seeing on the screen. I can see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your ability to embed audio, when you go into this room, you're in the living map, you open up that room and click play, and there's your ambiance for that particular room or what have you.
Okay. So if you
the
are
DM telling you how you're going to die,
if you are one of these D&D streamers who are out there, happen to also listen to this podcast, consider this for a moment. If you were to do that, you could, if you were casting this, you could actually show people those elements as you're unveiling the stuff to the characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
if you really wanted to be a jerk, you could show an element before the characters hit there, so you get the chance to go, oh shit.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the thing that's coming down the line.
Yeah. Pretty much. Just crazy ideas, but somebody should do that. They're streaming.
Well, and I'm not even going to pretend to compete with Roll20.net or any of the other services that are out there that are providing incredible tech for virtual gaming experiences. But there's still room for the structure, the continuity, and the inspiration that comes from seeing these elements associated with each other. So yeah, and that was the thing, do we want to compete with Roll20.net? No, they're way more funded than we are, and they're honestly doing great stuff. I don't.
They have a different mission, though.
You're more of a generalist than they are.
Exactly. We're focusing on the broader storytelling industry, the experience, the broader storytelling experience. And honestly, I don't want to compete with somebody who's doing amazing stuff. If they're putting out top quality goods that I can't improve on, then why would I want to cut into their market share? How does that help me?
So you could be the also ran.
Yeah, exactly. And it ends up, I think, hurting the industry and the culture that you are passionate about in the long run. So yeah, I'm not an aggressive competitor as far as that goes, which may be my downfall. Who can say? But I enjoy giving stuff away. Speaking of giving stuff away,
yes.
We like stuff.
Dave the Pimp is on the job.
That's right. Let me screen. I'm gonna screen share for your video feed, people, and then we'll talk about the words themselves. So I will screen my entire screen. Actually, can I do the? Yes, I can. I'll just do that application window. So, Dead Robot Society people, here it is, an exclusive coupon. Because you're tuned in to the Dead Robot Society, good for 50% off any level of subscription for 3 solid months. This is a savings of potentially, let me think, I don't know how much am I charging for this year. That's a savings of $12. That's a $12 savings right there just for tuning into the DRS. It's already paying off for you.
I like the 666 because we are the work of the devil.
Exactly, right?
What the hell is the 289? Is that some other kind of evil thing?
I'm going to let your fans figure out what that exactly is. So
if you're if you're listening to podcast, the code is DRS 666289.
Indeed.
And you seriously should go check it out.
Yes,
indeed. And it is valid through the end of June. So the coupon expires on what 30 days has September, April, June. Yeah, June 30th is the last day the coupon works. So don't hesitate. But if you're tuning in on June 29th, you're just now catching up on the Dead Robot Society, you're still in luck. Go ahead and cash that bad boy in. That's good for 3 months at half off.
And if you don't tune in until 2020, well, you're a little late. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
you're a
something
little
else.
late. I know some of you a year in the future. I'm talking to you, that person who has gone through first episode up to here. You're a sicko. You are an absolute sicko.
But we love you.
We love you, but you're a sicko.
Sickness.
You need help. Serious
Oh,
help.
crap. One other thing that's coming out probably in the next couple of weeks is a referral program where you can, if you refer people to sign up for Archivos, you get free months of Archivos. And there'll be more information coming out of that on our feeds as well.
Awesome sauce.
Indeed.
And if you have questions and want to see how it works, you can go up to archivos.digital, Archivos, ARCHIVOS.digital.
Indeed.
So
Somebody mispronounced it and it wasn't me.
I was trying to pronounce it phonetically.
Indeed. And as we observed in our FAQs, where we list the pronunciation of the software, we will answer to anything. We are shameless in that way. So Archivos, totally legit. I will nod and smile and shake your hand, sir. But if you want to talk, if you want to use the words that the developers use and the content developers use, it's Archivos.
All right, fine. Archivos.digital.
Yes.
And they also have a YouTube channel. They can show you tutorials on how to use that stuff. So you can see if you want to take a look. So
Absolutely.
I implore you to go look at it because it is a great tool. I use it. I know quite a few other writers that are using it. So that's all I'll leave it to. But if you want to collaborate with somebody, give it a shot. Really, seriously.
Celebrity endorsement. I cannot ask for more. That's just badass.
When did I become a celebrity?
Hey, everybody that tunes into this thing, you're a celebrity. Well, most people that tune in. Some people actually.
You're kind of like the scream queen of podcasters.
The scream queen of podcasters. I
I'm dead.
I don't know how to even parse that statement. And I have a feeling you did not know what you meant. You just threw it out there and wanted to see if it stuck.
I knew exactly what I meant.
What did you mean?
I meant that, you see a lot of B horror movies and they have the actresses that are well known for their ability to scream. They are the scream queens.
I don't scream though.
It didn't matter.
We just need.
I was implying you were a second tier podcaster. Thank you for making me explain it.
Wow, I'll take that as a compliment. Really, I think I'm more like fourth tier. So I'll take that as a compliment.
We slam each other, but it's rough when you have to explain it.
Does it take some of the fun out of it for you?
It does. You've ruined the entire experience.
Good. Your tears taste so good.
Gosh,
give me that salt.
I can't think of the last time you made me cry.
Oh, don't go there. Oh, my brain. Ah, God.
Oh, the brain bleach. Oh, the brain bleach.
So before we get away from this, Balticon is coming up. By the time this episode comes out, it will either be almost time or time. I'm not sure if that's 2 weeks from now. Is it 2 weeks from now?
It's next week.
No, 2 weeks.
It's a week. Well, okay.
A week and a half.
I get there a week from Thursday. It's because it starts Friday.
Oh, that's right. It is.
It's like really coming up.
It's the 24th, 25th, and 26th, 27th. Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Dang, guys. Y'all have fun. Terry, are you making the Balticon scene this year?
I am not. I spent too much money going to something else this year, so it is not happening.
Fair enough. But Paul, you'll be there.
Yes. I take it you are skipping out this year.
I am. Family health issues require me to stay at home, and so I'll be watching from afar. I will trust everyone's Facebook feed and Twitter feed.
Oh God,
that seems somewhat reckless.
You thought you needed brain bleach earlier. Come on.
Nah, bring it. It's okay. I can objectively control the feed, and if my brain hurts,
you know what we need for this. We need one of our listeners that's going to be at Balticon to trail Paul everywhere he goes, post video segments and their own commentary about what he's doing the entire time. We want to see that sucker the entire way through. If you've got a soundtrack, you can have his own superhero soundtrack playing while he's doing things. You know, you can do all of these things.
Coolie Cam. We need Coolie Cam.
We need Coolie Cam.
Oh, no. I do not need a stalker. Thank you very much.
And if you're actually considering being the Coolie Cam agent, you only have to operate between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. That's the only active time we're interested in.
And don't worry, you can do it in shifts, okay? You don't have to look at him all the time. I understand that can be a little bit harmful for your psyche. You can you can hand off to someone else, and it can continue.
Sure.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's so
mind
bad.
boggles.
It's so bad. Get us out of here, Terry.
Dave, thanks for coming on. Tell us where people can find you, find Archivos, and find everything.
Outstanding. Thank you. And as always, guys, the laughter, the tears, it's always a delight to be on the DRS. So thanks for having me. You can find Archivos at www.archivos.digital, ARCHIVOS.digital. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Archivos Stories. Our Twitter feed is twitter.com/Archivos Stories. And all of the goodness that you can find out about that is all up there. And then, yeah, really, that's kind of all I am right now. Oh, well, you can also, if you're interested, I'm also fired up a Patreon feed where I'm exploring a fantasy city one street at a time. If that sounds at all appealing to you, go to patreon.com/Palethos, PAL, oh God, AETHOS.
You can't spell your own stuff. You're in big trouble, buddy.
I had to say it out loud. I can type it real fast, but asking me to spell my city names, and every fantasy writer out there knows exactly what I'm talking about.
At least you're not using, random hyphens and apostrophes everywhere. So that's a good thing.
Russian hieroglyphs. Yeah. All of that stuff. No, play those. So that's where you can find me, and I'll look forward to hearing from you.
We look forward to, seeing you as you wander along the street and just turn into some random shop and describe the shopkeeper.
I look forward to. Oh yeah, what was it? Story time is what that guy called that. Yes, I would absolutely love that. That would be great fun. So that's where you can find me.
And so let's go ahead, and now that Paul has totally thrown me off my stride by cloning himself and vanishing,
you don't have much of a stride.
It's true. I don't even pretend to have much of a stride. If you would like to send us a note and inquire your own questions about Archivos, if you just don't feel the need to ask them directly, go ahead and send us a note at show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can find Paul on Twitter at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ and that's because I'm old, so I say this / thing. DRS Podcast. I don't actually know. Now I've confused myself. See, watch. I'm looking at him and seeing the things that I'm doing to him.
That's okay. That's all right.
You can find us at the Listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group. I say getting back on course. If you want to listen to the audio, we have to thank the good folks at podhoster.com. If you would like to see us on YouTube, it's youtube.com/DRS podcast. See, I did it that time right. And he's over there laughing now because I did it that way on purpose for him.
And our $10 patrons are Andrew Smallwood, JD Barker, Jesse, if you can't convince them, confuse them, or cut. Veronica Jaguar, Jack F. Erickson, Kelson, happy Mother's Day to all the writer moms. A little late, but still awesome.
Legit.
Yes. Isabel Cushy, Rick, where have all the words gone, Shaw? I feel your pain, Rick. Trust me right now. Lisa Slack, Nathan Cosby, Cheryl Winters, Tracy Bodine, Devin Lee, Drew Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey Stuff Bernardi, Chris Winder, Andre Conde Moraes, DJ Chamberlain, and J.R. Handley. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you for putting up with me and my terrible exits.
You and your terrible exits. Your terrible outros, my terrible intros. Put them together, we have a terrible show.
And yet you've got some amazing people who think you're pretty freaking awesome.
I can't think of a better endorsement than, you know, how awful we actually are.
If you're looking for bad podcasts, this is it.
It's because we're storytellers. We're not exactly intro and outro guys.
That's right.
No. We start this podcast all too often right in the middle. I have no idea how that happens, but it does. It's like Terry writing. That's how this podcast has been going.
If it was like Terry's writing, it would be in order. That's the way this works.
That's right. And you'd only be editing sentences, not deleting scenes.
With that, Terry, please get us out finally.
Thanks for listening in, folks. And we hope you have a great time. If you are going to Balticon, have a wonderful time and be safe.
Yes. And, you know, meet me at the bar.
Paul's buying.
No, he's not.